All right, good morning, everybody, all the ABC Seamless family out there. I have Mr. Jerry Beyers, the president, CEO of ABC Seamless, and we're going to go through a few questions today. And first off, Jerry, how are you?
How am I?
How are you? How have you been?
Well, I've been just fine, other than a few little setbacks once in a while.
Sure.
But no, I'm fine.
Sounds great. Thank you for being on this podcast today with us. Do you mind if I start asking you a few questions?
No, you go right
All
ahead.
right, so first off,
And then, by the way, I'm sitting with Scott.
Oh, yeah.
And
I'm Scott Mullenkamp, if you guys don't know me out there in the ABC world, and I do marketing and sales and whatnot and work with franchisees. That's what I do. So not quite as important as Mr. Beyers here, but I try to pretend to be anyway. So
you got me fooled because you do a good job.
Hey, thank you, sir.
Okay.
So Jerry, first question. We screw secure our siding in Fargo here, in Bismarck, and in Aberdeen. Other locations as well do this. Why would you screw secure the siding and roofing versus using nails? What are some of the benefits that you get from screwing it on versus nailing it on?
Okay, yeah, that is a good question. One of the reasons is if we were hammering them on, I don't know how many times in the old days that we found people couldn't hit the nail like they should, and
Sure.
and they put a dent in the siding, and they'd would forget to remove it, and just go on, And the problem was also if you had to take down a wall, you would usually loosen that nail with the hammer claws, and when you do that, you pucker the siding and stuff. And by using screws, we can take it and put it on, and we can screw it off without doing harm to it. For let's see, one thing, and secondly, it'll hold up better in the winds and stuff. And a lot of times they would actually miss the studs on a house when they were actually nailing. And in most cases, we're working with probably half-inch Blandex right now, and in most of these homes that have been built in the last 25, 30 years. And we still try to hit the studs.
So another part of this question,
and it's a better selling point.
Absolutely a better selling point, of course, making that seal. Is there a difference of what kind of wind it can handle if you screw it on versus nail it on?
Well, I would say there is, but there's a difference between what you put on a wall and what you put on a roof.
Okay.
What you put on a wall, ours has got a real high wind load, more or less, test, and it isn't like a vinyl siding. It doesn't blow off, like vinyl would.
Vinyl or asphalt, yeah.
Yeah, right. The main thing is that our roofing has been tested all the way up to somewhere between 170 and 80 and 180 miles per hour. When it's screwed at its maximum of approximately every foot.
That's fantastic, because I think asphalt is the most I've ever seen with that is 130 maybe,
Yep.
And that would be with a 50-year lifetime shingles. So
Yep.
It would make more sense for us to invest into a permanent roof versus doing something that's guaranteed to fail, right?
Right.
What are the benefits of seamless steel roofing versus all the other roofing options, such as standing seam, corrugated, asphalt? What are maybe the main selling features that you recommend as you develop the seamless roofing? Why it's better than all the rest?
Well, the reason that I think it is better, and that is by past experience. Usually, asphalt roof is going to be replaced probably every 15 years, all depending on the degree that it is facing the suns and stuff, and to where it can actually burn up right on a roof. The higher the degree, up to a 60 degree, that would be the ultimate if you were going to put a solar system on a house. In other words, it would be the degree that you're faced with of your maximum amount of sun exposure.
Sure.
And so that kind of rules out the asphalt roofing. And one of the things is the industry has gotten to the point where there's little or no petroleum products hardly in it anymore. so it won't last as long. Now, ours being steel, it's been tested, and we do have an underwriter laboratory seal on it, on our coil and on the machine that actually produces it.
Sure.
So we also we don't have any splices. Now, when you compare it to a standing seam, standing seams usually come to a center on a valley. In other words, they actually come right down, meeting each other, and makes more of a snow stop than a place for the snow to actually slide off.
Yeah.
Ours is smoother. Ours does not have the splices to let water in, and also we don't put on any roofs that do not have titanium on. And titanium,
Yeah, what's a titanium? That's PSU, right?
yep,
And that
is
goes
PSU.
on all the decking of the roof?
Yeah.
So that would be just in
Two-
synthetic underlayment? Is that what we're
Yeah.
talking?
Well, right, and it's a relatively expensive, let's see, material that we use, but we don't want a roof to leak. And
Absolutely.
we cover our valleys and everything with it. Now, people yet today, a lot of people still put on, even in the metal shingles, they put on probably, I think some states right now, I think Minnesota requires that you probably do the whole roof now, but they used to just do the first 4 feet, which was where the ice
Ice and water
would actually
shield.
pile up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And but we don't quit there. We do the whole roof. And yes, we believe we have to keep the homes dry. We want your investment to be secure over a long period of years.
Sure. So you think the titanium PSU underlayment is a lot better than doing the 15-pound felt?
Oh, yeah. Well,
I remember using that. I'm sure you roofed a few houses with that felt paper, I'm guessing.
Well, yes, I did, and I was always perturbed a little bit because of the fact when you got over 412 roof pitch, you would have a situation when you're walking on this and you've stapled it down, that you're pulling on those on those staples, and you're tearing little holes in the asphalt underlayment.
So that'll keep you dry inside then.
Yeah.
With underlayment.
Yep. Yeah, that would give you a chance for water to get under it, and you don't want that. And then of course our actual starter edge and everything is laid on in such a fashion that if there was any moisture underneath, it can get out. So it's the wave of the future. Now, I've been doing this probably for 25 years already. I've had a lot of usage that I've had on this roof before we actually put it into total production. And it's a lower profile, to which would also allow it to stand up better to hail or of even somebody walking on a roof, because of the fact that you're going to be backed up by the deck of the roof.
Sure.
If you go to these high profile shakes, your chances of getting the heck beat out of them by hail and stuff are much greater. And to have a roof that could conceivably leak. So, that's the reason why we do what we do.
Well, let's take a look at some seamless roofing.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to change gears here for a moment, folks. We are going to talk about what an adjustable drip cap is. Jerry, would you share with me what an adjustable drip cap is? And then also tell me why we use the adjustable drip cap versus just putting J channel above the windows.
I'd be glad to.
Perfect.
Over the years, the industry has always recommended that you put a J channel above these here windows whenever doing, uh, whether it's box siding or steel siding. And one of the things is though that has a tendency to operate much like an eave trough. It'll gather the water on the wall,
Oh yeah.
and that I saw that years ago, and I've spent probably the last 30 years changing that whole bit, especially with ABC. That's one thing about a franchise. As a franchise, I recommend that everybody do it that way. I do not recommend using a J channel above a window because the water will shed off and it'll go right down over the window instead of running out to the ends and probably getting caught up in some intrusion of some kind of that water under the siding, and we don't want that.
How long have you been using the adjustable drip cap?
Well, I personally, I'd say right around 30 years.
30 years.
Yep.
So do you know, is there anybody else that's using this, or just kind of something we developed and then we're just...
Well, we have developed it, and our manufacturer builds it for us.
Okay.
They probably have got some of their box sidings right now. They might have it available, but usually the applicators are not as well schooled in it as they should be if they're not an ABC applicator. At least an ABC applicator knows what we have available. And if for whatever reason you might get in a real dry or arid area that says, well, we probably don't need this because of the fact that it doesn't rain here, but sometimes it rains.
That's a good one. Jumping from that question, this is a two-parter right here. Does steel siding and roofing expand and contract? That's the first part. The second part is, how important is proper venting when you're experiencing that expansion and contraction?
Okay, well, we'll start with the first part, and that would be, does it expand and contract? Yes, it does. And there is a limitations to approximately what it will expand on tests that have been done by some laboratories. They're saying that in a 90-degree differential from 70 degrees above to 20 degrees below zero, that on dead center you would get approximately 1/2 of an inch of movement. Well, our nailing slots are probably they are just in the area of 1 inch each, and of course from dead center, and we try to mostly nail in the dead center, or to screw it on in the dead center, leaving plenty of room for it to expand and contract. But what it really means is we're talking about a board that is approximately 70-80 feet long, and that's a very minimal amount of expansion and contraction. Now vinyl, on the other hand, has a tendency to in their 12-foot lengths to expand up to an inch, and there is no way you're going to make that into a seamless product. Some people have tried. There's been some real cute systems out there, Scott. They've even tried to weld it as they put it on.
Oh, I'm sure.
And it just kind of makes it really stretch out and expand, contract, and stuff like that. So you can get an inch of that, to my observation, that an overall length, if you laid her down in hot and cold, it would I'm sure end up with about an inch in a 12-foot piece.
So with that question again, how important is the venting when the stuff is moving around like that?
The venting is important regardless, whether you have one product on or the other. You want to vent the house well. You want to make sure that you've got the proper airflow. Most of the homes are requiring airflow up to something like about well 3-4 feet. Well, actually, I'm fairly sure one of the like say one of the things I usually use as an indicator is somewhere about every 100 feet. I'd like to see a foot someplace of venting.
Sure.
And that would be the intake. Now the outtake, the exhaust part of it, it's usually coming from the actual soffit area. You got to have soffit. Uh, uh, I believe most of them are styrofoam, but I think that we're using nowadays. But so there's a lot of times we will shove in extra ones if we feel it is undervented. And now one of the things too, you got to be careful when you get somebody to insulate your attic, to give it up to the 17, 18-inch bonus depth. You got to make darn sure that you have the venting clear, so it isn't blowing full. Now a lot of outfits have come in and you had 4 inches of insulation 50 years ago, 40 years ago, and they've blown over top and they don't have a lower vent. Well, then you probably got to do venting in the one of the gable ends and stuff and put in louvers. But you should try to at least have enough venting to equal the amount of output that you're going to need. And a house will remain a lot easier to heat inside if you do have good insulation under. Now, unlike a asphalt roof, you would then have a problem with burnout still on your shingle, because nothing is going to stop that sun from hitting it hard, even if you got the insulation. And the same thing with ours, but ours can stand up against the heat.
Right, and for us, we use the app called the Manco app, so we'll pull that up on the screen here right now and show you. The Lamanco app will show you how much venting is needed for the soffits and the roofing, and how many turbine vents and boots that you're needing to use. So what do we use again to create or to build the leaf protection system that we utilize, the hurricane leaf protector? How do we make those panels, and why should we use the hurricane leaf protector versus all the other products that are out there?
Okay, that's a good question, Scott. And one of the things that we use to actually manufacture it is a machine that we have built to put these vents in. And one of the things is we've also patented the ability of the vent that we put in to cause a suction as the water goes through them that'll pull more water off the roof. In other words, it will draw water as it gets over top, and she starts flowing. Once water starts flowing, it will pull, and it will drag more water in than if you didn't have these vents. If you just had a hole tends to draw all the way around, but that doesn't.
Like a pop bottle
Yeah.
Back in school when you put two and hooked them together and spun it like a hurricane.
Yeah.
So it actually sucks the water through the perforated eyes then.
Well, that's a possibility.
that's how we learn it, I guess. But
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a great product. They come in 52-inch lengths.
Yeah.
52-inch lengths, and then they're screwed secured right on top of the gutter. And you can match the color with any offered coil that we have, because you can manufacture it.
You can, that is true. And we try not to run it under the shingles like a lot of companies do, because they have a tendency then to break up the neighbor's shingles and stuff, or who's ever adding this. So we try to fasten it below the actual drippage when we put on our eave troughing.
Perfect.
So it under tests, it outperforms everything that we have seen, short of just running the water right on the ground.
Yeah. And you could get that directly ordered right from Fargo if you wanted to do
Yes, you
topper
do.
of your gutter system.
Yep, and a lot of our people are pretty good size users of it. It is one of the better ones out there for sure. So
Okay, so this is a question about if I were coming to you as a customer, right?
yeah.
Jerry, I need this done. I need to buy siding and windows from you. Um, would I want to replace my siding or windows first? And what goes along with that is if I were to do the siding first, what kind of problems would arise if I did that? Did the siding first and the windows second?
Well, doing the Windows first would probably be the best answer, but we also can do it the other way. We can do the siding first because our window can be installed in any home that's already got siding on, and we can put in our replacement windows because of the fact that we don't tear out everything. We don't tear out the actual windowless buck. We don't we don't take that out. Uh, if we do, then I would want to make sure then that we would have to cut around the existing siding, and we can do that. We have done it both ways, but we've got experienced people who can actually do that. And if you don't have the experienced people, then you had better get them because and our our franchisees, most of them put on windows or they put in windows and stuff. But one thing that they got in common in everything is they all put on the siding. So they usually know how to deal with the siding products, and they got different methods of actually doing that, Scott.
Just seems a lot more difficult if you're trying to do windows after you do siding because a lot of times you'll have different materials that they've used for the siding itself.
That's
So you're not exactly sure what you run into because we specialize, of course, in doing just seamless steel.
Yep, yep. We certainly do, but we also put windows in almost any type of a monolith product. So uh, that is one thing. Golly, over the years, there's many thousands and thousands of windows that have actually went in, and it's a good selling point when you don't have to take out all the woodwork and stuff inside the house. If you like your woodwork, you can keep your woodwork. If you want to change it, we can change it for you also.
Absolutely.
But we can do just about anything, but we try to explain it well and what your options are, and that is one thing most people who specialize in this are pretty well informed of what's possible. Another thing we like to see done, we like to see the frames, even the old frames, well insulated also. And by doing that, a lot of times we'll have to take and drill holes in the old window buck and then pump
Spray foam in there?
the spray foam in there, absolutely. Because it's just a way most houses were inefficient with when the house was built. They didn't always pack them good with insulation,
Sure.
and of course you will see that you would normally check them out by drilling a hole to see what you had in there. But most cases, if it needed something, we can inject that in through the window butt.
Just get good people, learn, get new installers, and
Yep.
train them up the right way to make sure they can take care of the customer, right?
Yep, they've got to be well informed.
Sounds good. Last part here. I'm sure you've heard this before, but undivided responsibility, right?
Yep.
So, can you explain undivided responsibility and how it works during the sales process for one? And then on that, how is undivided responsibility for ABC Seamless of Fargo? Say it's us. How is it undivided responsibility when Edco has a say in it? And also, don't they make the decision to replace or paint if something goes wrong on the manufacturer warranty?
Yes, they absolutely do. And the way I would explain it is this: what it was meant from the beginning. When we talk about undivided responsibility, we talk about our competitors more so. When we say we have undivided, because we use the same product, the same manufacturer throughout the house, which would be all of our stuff up until now has been built for us by Edco Products out of Hopkins, Minnesota. But what we're also saying, if you ever had a warranty on your siding and you bought siding from somebody and say that they found a better deal for the soffit someplace, so they bought the soffit from somebody else, they bought the coil from somebody else, and they bought the screws or the nails from somebody else, and whatever goes into that product, they should, whoever that somebody else was, they should definitely have some type of a warranty of some kind, but not all warranties are the same. And we basically try to stick to one product. The only time we'd have something different is if somebody wanted a brick face put on or something like that. That would have a separate warranty from the product that actually manufactures it for us. So that's what I call undivided responsibility.
So
it isn't all split up by 7 different warranties. You get one.
One warranty, one company, one product.
Yeah,
so steel coil will make the gutters, make the hurricane, make the siding, make the roofing, make the wraps on the windows, everything. Yep. All the trim.
We use all steel wraps.
Instead of finger pointing at everybody, saying it's your fault because you did this or did that. You got the aluminum soffit, you put it on our steel siding. We can't match colors, but any color that ABC Seamless offers can be utilized on the home for any of the exterior products.
That's correct.
The same color. We manufacture it, we build it.
Our gutters, everything, and the thing that makes us different there too, in our gutter products and our siding products, we use all G90 in the galvanization, and anybody who manufactures steel siding of any kind or anything that gets any type of galvanization on, usually is somewhere in that 60 range. That would be, but we are a 90, which says that's the total galvanization that had went on. The way you have to actually view when something is galvanized, so what you have to take in view is, well, you could have 40 on one side and you could have 50 on the other side that was still total 90. It's got a total 90 somehow. And of course, now when you're talking a 60, you could have 20 on one side and 40 on the other, and that's quite a differential then on a 60. But a 90, we've got more galvanization. We got 30 more galvanized on ours than the other products do.
So in closing, Jerry, thank you very much for joining us for our first ABC Seamless podcast. Hope all of you can listen in your vehicle, in your home, in church if you want, or watch this podcast live. It'll be on YouTube right after Labor Day, right? So in closing, thank you so much for being on here. It's great to work for you. You've got very good answers on all the questions that we asked today. And then also we just talked today, and we're going to be making the Marketplace live after Labor Day too. Yeah! Marketplace is coming.
Okay. That sounds good, and we'll continue on from there. I'd like to thank you, Chris, as being the backup man here.
You bet.
Trying to keep us straight. And
I'm the backup man,
Scotty,
actually.
I'd like to thank you, and I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks again, and stay tuned.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ABC Seamless podcast. I am honored here today to have Mr. Ted Franssen, the Vice President, the man, the myth, the legend, here with us.
Right.
How are you doing today? How was your trip up here today?
It was great.
Wonderful. Well, today we're going to kind of go over some product information. We're going to go through some dealer questions, just have a good time, good little chat about where the future is, what we're doing at ABC, and where you are and what's going on.
Sounds exciting.
Wonderful. Going to start off, a couple heavy hitters maybe, you never know. Let's start off with what are the benefits of the seamless steel roofing versus all other roofing options? You know, why would we want to put steel on a house over, say, asphalt or the shake or corrugated slate? Although there's so many options, so why do we want to go with the seamless steel? What is me as a homeowner buying a new house, investing in my house going forward? Why do we want to put that as an option on our roof.
When I'm talking to folks, I really like the ideas of the no seams. It's very similar to our tried and true product of gutters and siding, of no wind getting up underneath it. That's a big factor. I think it looks good. Some folks don't like the looks of it, but after you show the benefits of it, I think it really shows itself. The other thing about the seamless is that narrow butt.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm talking to the folks about that, I'll step on it, and I'm not no small guy, so we're stepping on it, and it doesn't dent, where the bigger reveals are more susceptible for denting and stuff like that. Even if it is a 26 gauge, it still is more susceptible to dent because of that hollow spot.
Okay.
So
speaking of denting wise, and we can just keep going from there. What's the hail warranty that we kind of go with for the siding and the roofing? What do we do as a company to go the extra mile to make that homeowner feel comfortable when it comes to hail and hail claims?
Great question. So we have our traditional, depending on when they purchased, our $250 clear up to $500 hail warranty, where we can put that towards the deductible.
Okay.
But the biggest benefit of our hail warranty is that we don't discontinue colors or styles, and we're able to always service that customer. When you're going into what do we do as a company, I think that really goes back to the actual dealer, where this is your customer. You have to work with that insurance company and earn that money. So it really shifts gears as to whether you're given a presentation, that effort, or you're doing the work in working with the third party, meaning the insurance company or adjuster.
And that's a big thing. And I've learned as a salesman, as a newer salesman here, is that insurance side of stuff is where the homeowners, that's a huge value that they take out of that. Once you tell them that you're there for them and with them, they're big on that.
Yeah.
With the seamless roofing, what's the value system that we should talk about and or sell to the undereducated homeowners? Just all the way down from the installation process to where we're at when the finished product is done.
The installation of our product is the best part of it, is that we strip it down to the plywood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you're a franchisee and you're selling our ABC Seamless steel roofing, you should be stripping it all the way down to the plywood, and making sure that you're doing a plywood check, replacing all that. Then you use the ice and water shield on the whole thing.
Yep.
Again, upgrade versus the asphalt, and these other guys using either synthetic or felt.
Right.
So we use peel and stick on the whole thing. Then we use screws. Let me repeat that.
Yep.
We use screws.
And what's the benefit of the screws over the nailing system?
Because you screw threads into the plywood or the decking, versus the nail just goes in, and you get more over time with that pressure of the wind, which we get wind.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yep. So that pressure of that constantly, and then it'll move it loose. And so what happens is we're offering a lifetime warranty, and we've tested it, or Jerry's tested it, and we've gotten the 160 mile an hour uplift rating, which is better than anybody else out there. So it's a huge benefit when selling against other steel products, and obviously against asphalt.
Absolutely. And on top of that, like you talked about with the, as they call it, thatch paper and all that they put under there now with our PSU 30 and our ice shield and whatnot, when we screw in, that also seals those screws up
sure
too,
does,
right?
like a gasket.
Yep,
Like
absolutely.
a gasket. Yep.
And that's huge. I mean, to me, it's interesting because when I go and sell roofs, I actually love selling roofs. It's one of my favorite things to sell out there. Just the way that people react when they see how much more advanced and how much more dedicated our product is that we put on for them.
The other thing that we use is I use a little document in the house showing what the estimates are for an asphalt roof.
Okay.
And it has been proven nationwide that an asphalt roof life is on average 5 to 7 years. Now that depends on the region, because some regions are a little different, but on average it's about 5 to 7 years.
Right.
So then I put on there, say that asphalt roof is $7,000. So they're paying $1,000 a year to have that asphalt roof, right?
Absolutely.
And we have a forever roof.
Yep.
And we're usually at least 3 times that number, right?
Correct.
So if it's 7,000, we're 21,000, right?
Yep.
And we're offering a 50-year warranty, correct?
Yep.
So guess what? Ours is actually less than $500 a year.
Correct.
Folks, homeowners, which is the better deal?
Absolutely.
So if you show them a return on your investment, everybody wants to see it. If you show them and educate them on that, then they're getting their best bang for their buck. And that's what everybody wants out there, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And then with that too, that 50-year warranty, that's transferable. So say
Yeah.
somebody passes away or
Yeah.
they sell the house in 10, 15, 20 years, it's a transferable with sale of the house based on
Definitely.
the warranty length.
That's definitely
Wonderful. Next question, will replacing my siding or windows, so let's say I just bought a new house, my dad's got a lake house, need to upgrade here, but replacing my siding, windows, or roofing, does it add value to my home? Like I just bought my first home, I'm investing in it, I'm putting everything I can, it's got vinyl on it, I'm not going to lie to you, wasn't my choice, just how it was, but I work here, I know the product. What's the value of putting what's the benefits that I'm getting over the vinyl? Why do I want to take the vinyl off? Why do I want to put those triple pane windows in? What am I getting? Am I going to get that extension, that life for the 15, 20 years that I'm going to be there for putting that money into it and going forward?
So what I always tell folks is that, vinyl siding is not maintenance free, because if the wind blows, it's peeling off, and then you're either calling the XYZ guy to come out and fix it. That's a headache. That's maintenance,
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
There is energy efficiency, meaning the double pane versus the triple pane.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you have expendable cash and you're just itching to have ABC seamless, I'm saying you get out there and do it.
Yep.
But as soon as you have to put $1 into your vinyl siding, you're wasting money.
I agree.
So at the time of a hailstorm, addition, personal damage, whatever, really at that point in time, take a good hard look at the other option of ABC Seamless. Let's put that money in once,
Right.
and be done. Our customer is the people that don't want to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That they love their home, they love their neighbors, and they're staying.
Right.
For the foreseeable future, they're staying, and they don't want to spend their time on fixing their house. They want to spend their time with their grandkids, golfing, tennis, fishing,
Absolutely.
whatever they want to do. So you got to sell that freedom, sell that vision of never having to mess with your home again.
That low maintenance.
That low maintenance.
Yeah.
Hose it down if you're bored.
Yep, absolutely.
Hose it down, but it's not a requirement.
Yeah, that's
So
what I was going to say. I tell a lot of people all the time, the only thing you're going to have to do is wash the spider webs off the side.
that's exactly right.
Absolutely. And is there a site that can be utilized to build more value out of what we're offering? Is there somewhere that the dealers can go or that we can go? Or
That's another good question, because in today's world, people always are looking for a third-party verification.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know that what they're getting, what you're saying, is true. And so going to the internet, going to Qualified Remodeler, going to all these different searches, it's really simple today. It's amazing. And find out regional averages and all of these things to answer those kinds of questions. But what I've found, and it changes every year,
Yep.
but what I have found with a siding/window project is it's about a 7-year return on investment.
Okay.
Project, okay.
Yep.
The best, and when you look at these, is kitchens and baths. They have about 105 to 110% return on investments. Meaning, if you spend $10,000 today and you sold your house tomorrow, you get out of that $10,000 investment, you get 105% back.
Right.
110.
Absolutely.
Then it comes patio products. Then it gets to the siding and windows.
Mm-hmm.
But the siding and windows also gives you another factor, which is energy efficiency.
All right.
So then you get into the underlayment, and using the green guard of a R4. Lots of variables to save money.
Yep.
The true fact is, folks, how many times do you want to do it?
Correct.
Right? Because if you have to do it more than once,
you're wasting money.
you're wasting
I
money.
love it. That's awesome. Speaking of siding, do you know what colors for our dealers and our franchisees, what colors we're going to be bringing over to the duck mat line from the PVC line as that PVC line continues to decrease in production and whatnot?
So from the last time I talked to Edco, it is everything is going to be available on duck mat, excluding the Sherwood green, the Heritage blue, and then also the other existing special order colors, the yellow glow, spring green, slate blue, and pearl.
Gotcha.
So we have 90% of our color line in duck mat as we speak.
That's huge.
It's
That's
very
wonderful.
huge. Yep.
Can you explain? So now we're talking about the one-time process to put into working with ABC. Can you go into what we like to call our undivided responsibility as ABC, and how it works during the sales process?
Yes.
More or less, how is it undivided when we have involved Edco, the manufacturer? Don't they make the decision to replace the paint? Yeah. Isn't that kind of a manufacturer warranty? How does that all kind of work together?
I'll tell you what. I think that this is one of the best selling features that we have as a franchise as our competition because even though Edco is our partner in this and they do ultimately make the final decision, we as a franchise have a lot of weight with them. Okay, whereas just your Joe trucking a truck or whatever, even if he's a big player, he really has zero leverage with that manufacturer. And you can't call the president or call Edco or whatever and say, listen, you need to help me out with this because he has very little leverage.
Right.
So I know that dealers in the past have had some challenges here and there, but as a whole, I see the numbers now, and we have a great thing going. It's are they perfect? No. Are any of us perfect? No. But I will tell you this, that they really appreciate our business. They value the relationship, the marriage between ABC and Edco, and they're here for the long haul. So all I got to say is that nobody's perfect,
Right.
and they're trying, and I know that there's some changes going on there, just like they got changes here. We got to be a little patient, but I do like the direction that they're going.
Awesome. And then on the undivided responsibility, just kind of take me through how you teach your guys when they go into the house to present to the homeowners, building that relationship, that trust with everybody.
So I always started off just because it's all about relation, and so I'll ask them, have they purchased something in the past 5 years or 10 years that they may have had a problem with? And then I let them answer. And usually the answer is yes. And so then I ask them, how was that process for you? Was it pleasant? Was it annoying? Tell me a little bit about it, right? So
Absolutely.
I'm bringing out the pain.
Yep.
Right? And then they say, well, I had to go to this guy, and then he had to go to this guy. And I said, God, it was a big circus, wasn't it? A big 3-ring circus, right?
Yep.
And so then I just blend that right into my presentation saying, I'm glad you told me that. I'm glad you was very honest. Let me show you how we do it. And you tell me if you feel more comfortable. And then I go into that undivided responsibility page and say, you're one source, you're one stop. Here it is. And if you have any problems, you deal directly with us. Would that make you more comfortable in this buying decision?
100%. Anybody. I don't see
that's,
why.
That's how I use that page. If you're not using that page, folks, you're missing the boat. It is so powerful in the house. Nobody else can say that in the house that we compete against.
Correct.
So use it, guys. Use it, and gals.
If I were coming to you as a customer, would you want to replace my siding or windows first? And what challenges would arise if a homeowner did the seamless siding before replacing the windows?
So going back to selling, I throw it back at them.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, what do you feel is the most important to you to replace first? Is it the windows? Do you feel like, or is it the siding?
Right.
Most of the time I hear windows because they like to open it and they like to shut it. They like to clean it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And so they would prefer to do their windows first. And if they're saying that, then that's their idea.
Mm-hmm.
If it's their idea and we can make it affordable, can we earn your business? Right?
Absolutely.
So usually it's whatever they want. If they say, our siding's falling off, we got muskrats coming in over here, whatever, then let's talk about siding.
Yep.
No matter what, the best part of our business, we're not doing concrete.
Right.
We can take that siding down if we need to. There's all kinds of different ways to make it happen.
Right. Absolutely. And then our color fade warranty, PVC to duct mat to prism to seamless roofing. There's so many different colors that we offer. There's so many different styles and product that we put on the house.
Yeah.
Where are we at with the warranties on those, and how many years are we pushing for those?
So I know that there's been those changes, and from my understanding, what we have in writing is that the seamless roofing is a 40-year fade.
Mm-hmm.
The prism and the duct mat is 35.
Okay.
And then the PVC, which we're fading out for this purpose, is 10.
Gotcha.
So that's
so for the PVC side, I guess those customers that we put stuff on in the 80s and early 90s and whatnot, if they came to us and said, hey, we want to still put a new wall up, but we want the same color, they still will be able to get that color?
Yes, and it will be duct mat. And what I've been experiencing, and I know a lot of other dealers have experienced, is that if they've had PVC on for 5, 10, 15 years, you put the duct mat up next to it, and it's almost identical because that sheen has wore off.
Yep.
So I think this transition is going to be clean. I really do. I'm not afraid of it, and I was really afraid of letting PVC go.
Yeah.
But after using it and seeing how much it matches, it's not even a concern.
Awesome. product wise, is there anything else you'd like to add, and just let our dealers know anything going forward there, or say in your area, different than our area up here in Fargo, right? You're a little south of us, weather-wise and basis, and how selling and stuff is going right there. Any new things that you see sparking up, or
As far as product goes, I know it's not an ABC product, but I've seen the Versetta Stone. Is that right?
Yep.
Versetta, yeah. The Versetta Stone is really catching on. We do it just because we don't want to lose the deal. It's expensive, but people are really going. They want to change their look.
Right.
They want to change their look, and I'm sure in our regions, the grays are really trendy right now. Our vertical board and batten is coming back.
Okay.
Which I could not believe that.
Like more so in the eaves, or like the whole wall?
No, the walls.
Okay.
But it's like featured spots, like in the front. They do Versetta Stone with the board and batten, then horizontal on the sides, and it's just like, wow, this new look is coming back. And so, being a consultant and being a professional salesperson, you want to introduce these kinds of ideas because that's going to be different than the competition. And if you strike an idea with the hover, you're showing them this kind of stuff, man, if you are engaged with them and they're liking what they're seeing, and you can finance them, I hope to God everybody's using financing. Then I'll tell you what, it's not about how much, it's about making them happy. This is their largest investment, people. They want to invest it with somebody they can trust.
Wonderful.